start from the bottom.
Mm.
I got my first job at McDonald's. I used to mop the floor. I used to fry McChickens and McNuggets. So that was an amazing experience. My social security was processed by McDonald's. To students, I will say focus on business ideas, focus on solving the problem, but at the same time, understand what is the foundation. So I know that India is the incubation center now of the world for these startups. The
Yeah,
growth has been phenomenal.
yeah,
Success has been phenomenal, but at the same time, what is happening now is I see a lot of youngsters are getting mesmerized by the money these
yeah,
startup CEOs or CXOs are making,
yeah,
the high life they live now in their Ferraris and Lamborghinis and penthouses.
yeah.
That is not the end game. That
Mm,
is the byproduct.
mm,
Uh, and that is where majority of the startups are failing, unfortunately, because the youngsters are getting into this bandwagon of startups
mm.
without any proper planning or understanding.
The Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hello and welcome to another super edition of my podcast, The Sound of Money. Hope you guys are enjoying the season two as we progress on various topics. So far, we have covered, we have an amazing guest joining here from Frankfurt in Germany. We have Rudraksh Bhawalkar, he's one of the partners at one of the big four. And let's welcome our guest today. Hi, Rudraksh, and welcome to my podcast, The Sound of Money.
Hi, Santosh ji. Thank you so much for having me and good to talk to you.
Most welcome, Rudraksh. When I saw your profile, and it talks so much about what's happening in today's world, AI and cloud computing, and so much, and that's what I thought. This podcast, we could talk not just about your own journey, but also, maybe also talk to students about what is it that lies ahead so far as the future is concerned. So maybe just start off
Mhm.
with your own career, Rudraksh. How did your career start? From where did it start, and how is it now that you're in Frankfurt?
Great, thank you so much. So I will quickly give you a glimpse about how I got into the world of IT, and let's start from the journey from the education itself, because that's where it all began. So Santoji, I come from a humble city of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, and that is where I did my schooling and engineering. So I'm an engineer by background, and
Hmm.
as soon as I did my engineering, my parents kicked me to USA. I did
Okay.
my studies there in computer science and control systems.
Hmm.
But during that time, and it was like in 2006, so the precursors of the 2008 meltdown
Yeah.
were showing up. So I did a quick switch from control systems to majoring into computer science, and got into the world of business intelligence and data warehousing.
Hmm.
And that's how I did the transition into the world of data. And I worked in a couple of industries in America. I was lucky to be there working for oil and gas, retail, and print media. And that's where I started my journey. But before I get into the details of that, I would also like to share some views about uh, the university
Yeah.
where I was. So I studied a master's in Wayne State University in Detroit. I know when people hear the word Detroit, they see a lot of or imagine a lot of bad things, but Detroit is one of the um, coming cities now. It's a good city. But the main thing is, as a student, I was lucky to start from the bottom.
Hmm.
I got my first job at McDonald's. I used to mop the floor. I used to fry McChickens and McNuggets. So that was an amazing experience. My social security was processed by McDonald's in the beginning. So that gave me a new perspective about money, home, and parents, right?
Yeah.
Because at home, you are so much pampered. You don't have to worry about your monetary problems.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything else. Your parents are taking care of you. So I recommend to each and every student who is aspiring to go out and study abroad,
Yeah.
try to do some odd jobs,
Yeah.
but do it on campus. Avoid off campus, so that is illegal.
Hmm.
Do the legal jobs and learn the value of money and parenting.
Hmm.
From there, it will also give you a good perspective about what hardship is.
Yeah.
and from there it will also help you grow. By the way, just wanted to add that few of the universities now in USA have also removed the requirement of GRE for
Mm-hmm.
masters. So if you have a good technical background, you have done bachelor's in engineering from some mid to high tier universities in India, students can just apply after taking TOEFL, which is test of English as a foreign language, and then apply in universities. For example, my university, Wayne State University, and they can get in without GRE. And they are very much famous for industrial, computer science, and medical, especially. So people who are interested, they can apply, and I can help in connecting the dots with the admission office, because I'm also a mentor in Wayne State University for undergrads.
Okay.
So I do it remotely from Germany. But then coming back to the journey, so I worked in multiple industries in USA, but then through my previous employer, I went to South Africa because I wanted to try my hands in sales,
Mm-hmm.
and not a better market than a growth market to understand about sales and business development. So I went there, where I was responsible for my ex-employer for the entire continent of Africa for the business in data and analytics. Was there for 2.5 years. Amazing place, beautiful people. Nature is amazing. So I'll recommend everyone, including you, Santoshji, you should try visiting South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Mozambique, and Namibia. I'll help you with your itinerary. And then came to Europe around 7 years back, based in Germany and Frankfurt. So that's how I got to Frankfurt. And then in between, I changed a few companies, and now I'm a partner in one of the big four in Germany, looking after data modernization and sustainability, which is data led sustainability and AI governance. So that's how I landed up in Germany. And this is the engine and the powerhouse of European economy.
Yeah.
So glad to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. So it's a very insightful story, that you shared. More so about your hard work and Rudraksh, with starting off with McDonald's, which I guess is a big message. And it's not that today's students, I think, whoever aspire to go abroad, or even otherwise in India, need to do that hard work, which is very very important. And I'm sure your story is equally insightful and inspiring. So Rudraksh, talking about data, and that's been your world. When you started off, was data something that you saw that as a sunrise industry, or you just happened to be at the right place at the right time?
So that's a very interesting question. So after the dot-com bubble, right, each and every
Okay.
company was just at the cusp of leveraging
Yeah.
data to create insight
Yeah.
about their internal operations as well as
Yeah.
customers. So I would say I was lucky to be part of that growth journey, because by the time I got into the industry, the data cycle
Hmm.
was picking up, that
Okay.
how you can use data to generate customer insights, improve customer experience, also improve the internal employee experience and operations, get 360-degree view of all the processes. So that's how it has evolved. And now with the advent of AI and generative AI, it is now getting onto the next level of autonomous generative business intelligence, generative synthetic data, as well as moving away from descriptive and diagnostic business intelligence and analytics to predictive and prescriptive analytics. I know that in certain part of the world it is a bit mature. Let's say, for example, Americas, they are a bit mature. Europe is getting up there with respect to the data journey, but in Asia Pacific, they are leapfrogging. So they are, I think, doing a lot of experiment, quick hypothesis testing, fail fast approach to look at use cases. So they are now, I think, jumping ahead. And I can say the same thing with certain African countries as well.
Mhm. That's very interesting. You mentioned Asia, and I'm sure India, in particular, right, with the growth of technology and the immense focus on technology. Maybe if you could share for our student audiences, right, because those who are seeing as AI, as data, number crunching, analytics, these are kind of terms probably they come across, and they want to aspire and maybe get into these industries as a career. What are your thoughts? Because you've seen through that journey, right, and things are maturing. And as you rightly say, India is one of those key, hubs where data and technology are really, being spearheaded by a lot of talent out there. So maybe your views on this.
Definitely. So earlier, I used to think when I was a student that okay, you have to do engineering and then you have to do an MBA to actually be successful and gain all the knowledge. But now things are changing a lot, right? So to students, I will say focus on business ideas, focus on solving the problem, but at the same time, understand what is the foundation of these
Yeah,
things. So irrespective to what 90s and 2000s were, where you had to be an engineer, I would suggest take topics which are more about commerce, take topics about economics, statistics, which will help you actually create the foundation for number crunching, because business is about people. Business is about solving a problem of people and then growing that. So, not necessarily what technical background you have in terms of a degree, but a technical background with respect to what languages, what problem solving technology enablement you need
yeah,
to find a solution for a problem. That is more important. So, for example, in the world of AI, a lot of students are getting into the data science, machine learning operations, and now with LLMs, large language models, LLM ops are there, which is the operations of generative AI foundation. These platforms are the enablers. So I would suggest the young student minds to learn about these technologies. Definitely, sometimes it can be engrossing because you have to go to the convolutional neural networks, you have to go to the neural theory, and then you have to design a lot of use cases which are leveraging deep AI or deep learning technologies. But not necessarily everyone needs to learn that. Learn the application,
mm,
learn how you can leverage these technology enablement in solving a problem. I am not a data scientist, I am not a generative AI expert, but with the AI that is coming up with more and more maturity day in day out now, I just focus on what use cases to look at, what are the industry problems, be it your retail, moving consumer products, or medical, healthcare, or pharma. You just look at the areas where you can find the logical application, and that will help you in reverse engineering. And that technology comes in the end. It's the business and the business
yeah.
problem first.
Absolutely. So, Rudraksh, when it comes to technology, AI, I'm sure a lot of, and I'm sure your interactions, as clients maybe is a lot into startups, right? So what's been the experience of startups in this kind of space? We do know there are many startups, more so in India, in areas which probably we couldn't have imagined a decade ago. But now you
Yes.
see youngsters, 25 plus, really getting into these startups. But are there any, from you look at these startups from a different lens, right? From probably as a consultant lens. What are the kind of learnings you probably want to share? The do's and don'ts, maybe if you could share with us.
Great question, Santoshji. So, uh, first, I would like to pass on one message. So I know that India is the incubation center now of the world for these startups. The
Yeah,
growth has been phenomenal.
yeah,
Success has been phenomenal. But at the same time, what is happening now is I see a lot of youngsters are getting mesmerized by the money these
yeah,
startup CEOs or CXOs are making,
yeah,
the high life they live now in their Ferraris and Lamborghinis and penthouses.
yeah,
That is not the end game. That
mm,
is the byproduct.
mm,
And that is where majority of the startups are failing, unfortunately, because the youngsters are getting into this bandwagon of startups
mm.
without any proper planning or understanding.
Okay,
So my even not the consulting spec, but a personal look on this
yeah,
particular scenario or a suggestion is try to identify a problem,
mm,
uh, find a good solution to that use case or set of use cases, which is iterative in nature, repeatable in nature. If it is a problem that can be solved once and cannot be repeated, there is no future. Find the problem that can be scaled, that can be repeated, and that can solve definitely basic of the problem, so that
okay,
uh, people who are at the ground level are also able to relate to it.
mm,
Otherwise, these startups will fail. And then definitely also look at four main aspects. You need a CEO,
mm,
you need a CTO, you need someone who understand the operations and the finance. So these four roles are key. Sometimes it's a mix and match of these four, and then ultimately things fail, right? And then each four of them have to do one common thing: sales, because everything is sales oriented. So everyone has to understand the concept of sales apart from these four key skills I mentioned. Otherwise, it will be a failure.
Absolutely. Very, very good learnings and that you shared with us, Rudraksh. The question next I have for you is on basically the growth mindset, right? And especially when it comes to leadership, the localization versus globalization, especially when it comes to future markets. And you have again the same point from a consultancy, lens. You come across clients who are into different industries, different businesses. So what are the kind of the common denominators, if I may say so, which probably are that you can share with our audience?
So, from this perspective, what I would suggest is that uh, each and every CXO that I
Yeah,
have been working with, or the industry that I have been working in, everyone wants to focus on two main things, right? Improving their customer relationship, as well as satisfying their customers' experience and requirements. Second, be a responsible business. So when I say a responsible business, it's not just about doing the CSR activity. Now, with the advent of sustainability, which is a big 17-point agenda, which
yeah,
was also discussed pretty heavily in the World Economic Forum that happened at Davos last month,
yeah,
everywhere in the United Nations and other big organizations like BRICS, they are talking about it. You have to look at the Human Diversity Index. You have to look at the carbon emission. You have to look at how you can reduce the temperature, right? Because everyone has to commit to improving the environment for our future generations. So these things are coming up, and plus also diversity and inclusion is playing a very important role, and I'm a big supporter of it, because from that perspective, we are creating an environment which is more inclusive, right? And not just like looking at the people aspect with the gender, which is very much important, but also including people who are physically differently abled,
yeah,
who need some help. So including them also is a big thing. Apart from that, uh, AI plays a very important role, because I'm coming back to AI because AI will be driving the future. And it has
awesome.
already started doing that, Santoshji, as we spoke previously. So with the advent of the regulations, right, like EU, European Union AI Act, which was adopted in the parliament, and now it will be finally voted upon soon, and will be enforced. Similarly, there is a Bill of Right in North America, which is being designed to implement AI responsibly, or put responsibility by design, so that the AI governance is avoiding such biases or unfairness
Yeah,
in treatment of people,
yeah,
as well as making sure that it's a very inclusive environment. Third, in India, I have seen NASCOM is taking some good steps. I know that responsible AI or data protection laws are yet to be fully defined in India or implemented, but there is a responsible AI hub that has been created under NASCOM, which is also leveraging and supporting these startups or these big corporates in implementing AI in a good way. And then you also need to understand that you have to have data
yeah,
properly, and a little bit getting into the technicalities of
yeah,
it, so
sure.
that the young minds can also understand, which are your audience, that unless and until you have proper managed data, governed data, you have proper cataloged and uh, high quality data, you can't have a good quality AI. So data is the foundation. So it has to be bottom up. You have to implement not just AI or not just data. You have to implement that particular vertical, horizontally as well as vertically as well as horizontally. Sorry, mixing up
Yeah,
the latitude and longitude. Sorry, but then so that it can be scaled and
yeah,
then provide a lot of business value. So that is where I see the industry going into.
yeah.
Sorry,
You
a long
touched.
answer to a short question.
Yeah, no worries. You're spot on. And in fact, an extension of this answer maybe. You touched upon the right part about responsible AI or ethical AI, as we see. If you are given a crystal ball and you know the industry, how things are functioning, where do you see AI? And I know it's a difficult answer to even predict the next minute because everything is changing so fast. It's pretty overwhelming for everyone. But given your experience and your industry exposure, given a crystal ball, where do you see this happening, and what kind of industries? And the reason I ask you this question is probably this could be some kind of like a lighthouse for students or a younger generation of audiences who could look at AI as a career choice in coming weeks and years and months.
Oh, definitely. So, first and foremost, if you are a good learner and be a lifelong learner, that's the biggest message I give to everyone. So, learn AI because that will have the highest paying jobs, right? So, that is definitely true. But now, coming back to your question, it's the Singularity University as well as other think tanks of AI said that by 2045 we will achieve singularity, which is the augmentation of human beings with the amalgamation with AI. But I
So
think
you're
the way generative AI.
just to double click on this, when you say singularity, are you saying an individual, a human being, will be, or an AI generated human being will be as good as today's human being? Are we looking at it?
That was yeah, you're right. So that is
Wow.
something where people said that the AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, will achieve the let's say the state of nirvana, and then will go ahead and think more, be capable of thinking more than human beings, right? At the same time, it will also help in achieving the let's say if anyone is looking at an artificial limb or artificial eye, so that kind of amalgamation with the human being with an AI product will kind of enhance human capability. So that kind of singularity we are talking about, and it was thought that it would be achieved by 2045. But the way generative AI, which came in 2022 November, disrupted the market, looks like that singularity will happen way before than 2045. And that is where I see that majority of the industry, right? Whether it is pharma, where you do R&D. So I'll give you one example. In pharma, when you do an R&D for a particular medicine, with the regular track that big pharmas have been using in the past, the methods, it takes about 8 to 9 years for a particular medicine to be developed, the molecule in synthesis, and then finding out which is a better way to do a delivery of a drug. Is it an injection, or is it a pill, or something like that? And then you have to take all the approvals from the different authorities. So overall cycle is between 9 to 15 years. With AI or generative AI, with the problems that you put in, it will fast track that process and it will bring it down to a year or 2 years. So you are saving almost let's say 10 times of the time in the R&D. Then you go through these approval process and these kind of compliance requirements that can be then also shortened because you can use AI to work on the policies, suggest what policies are required, merge it, demerge it, and let the legal authorities as well as the compliance authorities and the scientists about what they need to do. So lot of automation and intelligent automation will help them in achieving this product in shorter amount of time. So the what is the business outcome? Not just about big pharma companies making more money, but also helping those big pharma companies providing the medicine at the right time to cure the right diseases
Yeah.
and make it available at scale cheaper to people in developed as well as in developing countries. So that is one big example and the value add that I see. Then lot of other industries, for example, in autonomous driving with
Yeah.
Tesla, we see that they have made lot of progress in there. They have achieved, I think, level 3 or level 4 maturity in terms of autonomous driving. There are a lot of startups coming up in India as well. So with the advent of generative AI and AI with fast processing and these GPUs like NVIDIA
Yeah.
that has provided,
Yeah.
using those GPUs with high processing capability in fast in time output correlation, that will help in making lives easier. So
Mm.
people who don't know, for example, my wife doesn't know how to drive. Down the line, she doesn't need to know how to drive. She'll just get into her Tesla, drive it autonomously, go and do the groceries, drop my son to the school, and then enjoy, go for shopping.
Yeah.
So yeah, from the shopping point of view, could be a pain point for me, but yeah, she can do it on her own. So
Absolutely.
these are the areas I see that getting disrupted pretty quickly, making life easier.
Wonderful. In fact, just to end our interview on a very lighter note, as they say in India, right, when GPS started coming, and even now, the easiest GPS around is that Gali ka panwala, aage jaake left le lo. Whenever he tells you where to go, right? So I believe there will be a day when, and I really wonder how AI, or as you say, the Tesla cars start working automation in India, the Indian roads. Well, that's a pretty big challenge, I guess, even for Tesla. But yeah, let's look forward to some amazing future ahead in our lives. And yes, let's see how things pan out and shape out in the coming days and weeks and months and years. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rudraksh Bhawalkar, joining me from
Thank you,
Frankfurt
Santosh
in
ji.
Germany. Good to have you on the show. Looking forward for more episodes on the podcast of Sound of Money. But for now, from me, Santosh Sirur, and my guest today, joining me from Frankfurt in Germany, Rudraksh Bhawalkar. Thank you so much for tuning in to this podcast, Sound of Money. Take care. Bye-bye.